My name is Duddit, I do builds and stuff, and today I want to share with you a build that is going to be absolutely meta in my opinion, because this build is already absolutely busted with Graviton Lance. And Graviton Lance is getting a buff at reset tonight, 67%, and this build, like I said, it is already makes Graviton Lance super strong. So Graviton Lance, it's got the perk on there, Black Hole, second shot of a bear strips a hole through time and space, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. Cosmology is the exotic trait. Kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that attract targets. Little void explosion that is really strong. And it's got the catalyst on there. Increased damage against bosses, vehicles and guardians, which is Vorpal, and then using this weapon to break the shield of a combatant that matches gives you an overshield. Pairing this on the Voidwalker with Child of the Old Gods really feels strong already. And then on top of that, we've got Feed the Void for Devour, so we've got constant weakening 15% and a constant healing with Feed the Void and Child of the Old Gods. Just this pairing alone makes Graviton Lance feel really nice, but we've got all sorts of other stuff to show you in this build, where we're going to get a constant 22% damage increase and a constant 25% damage increase when we've got our super. And that brings us on to our exotic of choice for our Warlock, Mantle of Battle Harmony. This is a very underrated chess piece. What it does is I always break this down into two traits. So the first part of this exotic, when you don't have your super, if you get kills with a void weapon, because we're on a void subclass, is going to give you nice little chunks of super energy back. Works really nice with Grav Lance and the Cosmology. And then on top of that, once you've got your super, instead of getting super gains, it does give you a 25% damage increase. Now this doesn't stack with Surges anymore, but having a 25% damage increase when you've got your super feels really nice. But don't worry about it that it doesn't stack with Surges, because when we're building our super, we can run Void Weapon Surges too. And if we run something like Font of Wisdom, one or two of these to give us a nice boost to our intellect, you're going to get your super so fast with this setup. And like I said, while you're building your super, we may as well run 3 Void Weapon Surges to get a 22% damage increase, plus all of the Child of the Old Gods weakening effects and Devour going on. This build already feels strong. So you'll see in this clip here, I've got my Child of the Old Gods, and I've also got the armor charge going on for my Void Weapon Surges. You may as well run them while you're building your super. That's a 22% damage increase. So you get loads of super gains with this setup. And another way to get increased super gains is a couple of little mods and fragments I run. Echo of Harvest, defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and avoid breach for you and your teammates. Pair that up with a grenade and you're going to get kills from your firepower mod and kills from the Echo of Harvest. Pairing that, like I said, again with Child of the Old Gods is absolutely crazy. You're just going to get orbs for days with this build, which just adds to your super gains from Mantle Battle Harmony 2. So just for getting your super, it is absolutely crazy. And then once you've got your super, then Void Surges disappear, but then in turn you get a 25% damage increase. So we've got a flat damage increase all the way along. Now I'll quickly go over my fragments and aspects, which most of these we've already touched on, so I'll skip over. Child of the Old Gods, which we have already touched on. This is just a no-brainer for a build like this. You're going to get so much weakening effects with this build, and it also gives you grenade energy back if you stood in the healing grenade. It is a little bit buggy, but it's going to get fixed shortly. Feed the Void, obvious one for me. You're just going to have so much health regeneration. Vortex grenade or suppressor grenade. Suppressor grenade, I sometimes switch to that for overloads. Any of your super that you want. I always like to run Cataclysm. I found it a bit more consistent than the rest of them. Nova Warp, as I said, it's buffs, but it's still not as good as Cataclysmic in my opinion. Echo of Undermining to make your Void grenades weaken targets as well. That's just an absolute no-brainer. Echo of Instability, defeating targets with your grenades, is also going to give our Grav Lance volatile rounds. So you're going to have volatile rounds up quite a lot with this build as well, especially with something like Vortex Grenade. So Echo of Instability with a Vortex Grenade is really nice. Echo of Harvest, which we've touched on, all this is going to weaken targets as well. So you're going to create loads of orbs for your teammates, which we did touch on. And then Echo of Remnants, just to make our Vortex Grenade last that little bit longer. Now I'll skip over my mods, because these are quite important. 3 Void Weapon Surges. Like I did say, I just want to sort of go over that again. Your Mantle of Battle Harmony does not stack with weapon surges when you've got your super, but when you haven't got your super, you may as well run these 3 weapon surges to get your 22% damage increase whilst you're building your super. Now the rest of it is just all around creating orbs for your armor charges. So on my class item, I like to run Reaper because you use your Child of the Old Gods quite a lot on this build. You use your Rift. Every time you put your Rift, you get a kill. You're going to spawn an orb as long as it's with a weapon. Time Dilation to make your armor charge last a little bit longer. And then I also like to run the Bomber to buff my grenade recharge rate out as well. On my chest piece, now I just change this up depending on what activity I do. I tend to run a Concussive Dampener and then something like Arc Resist or Double Arc Resist or a Solar Resist, just whatever activity you're doing, whatever the incoming burn is. And then on my arms, I like to run Firepower. We've touched on this one briefly to get us an Orb of Power just from the grenade kill, which works really nicely with Echo of Harvest. And then Bolstering Detonation grants class ability when you cause damage with a grenade, more Child of the Old God energy, and then I also run Focusing Strike to get more class energy for our Child of the Old Gods with melees. So pairing these two together gives us really nice regen on our class ability. And then the rest of it is just basically run a Harmonic Siphon. It's all you need. You only need one. You're going to get plenty of void kills. And then, like we touched on, Font of Wisdom, 1 or 2 of these I would really recommend for a Mantle of Battle Harmony build. You can even pair that with something like Enhanced Ashes to Ashes to Assets as well. So plenty of little options you can change around on this build if you want to get more super energy. I will leave a dim link for this as well in the video description. So if I didn't explain it well enough, that is absolutely fine. I will leave a dim link for that as well. So just sort of like go over now everything that we've seen, getting your damage increase and your super gains while you're building that super up just like so. You're going to see so many yellow numbers with this build as well, whether it's from your Child of your Gods or your weakening grenades. Loads of health regen and just having a constant damage increase when you're building your super and when you've got your super. I just want to clarify that as well. A 25% damage increase on Graviton Lance. And again, this is not buffed of gameplay. The buff is happening tonight at 6 o'clock, and I've run this build in GMs all season, setting Lost Sectors and the Odd Master dungeon, and this thing absolutely shreds already. So God knows what it's going to be like tonight when they buff this gun by 67%. This is going to be absolutely crazy. So get on it, get it crafted. I'll leave a dim link like I said. All that's left to do now is what I always do at the end of my videos. I will just leave everything playing out, as well as the dim link, just in case I don't explain it well enough. You can check out all my mods and fragments with the screenshots as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you try it tonight. Have a great week.